Sonic! Stupid ass. Duh.
Living in the city.
It's like a roller coaster.
Over the last couple of days and weeks, we've been given a lot of information about Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces, and I thought it'd be a little fun idea for a video to go over what I'm excited for, and also what I may be a little worried about. I wasn't surprised that Sega decided to make a 3D and 2D Sonic game for Sonic's anniversary. It was the smartest choice, and after this mess, even though it wasn't Sonic Team who created it, they really needed something to slide back into trustworthy territory with their audience. I thought I'd start off by talking about Sonic Mania. It's the smaller of the two titles, so it'll be easy to compress my thoughts into what seems like a suitable length. But then again, like, I aim for each video to be around 10 minutes, so... Duh! So when this game was announced, again, I wasn't surprised. I was happy we were finally getting a proper Sonic 4, and to make it even better, T-Lopes was doing the music. I'd only started listening to his stuff what could have only been a month or two before the reveal of this thing, but needless to say, I love his music. Green Grove, that's a favorite. You heard it? No? So in the first trailer we saw Sonic running through the new Studiopolis zone, which looked incredibly bright and colourful and inventive. I love the smoothed out sprite animations, I love the colours, I love the popcorn, this looked great. Then they revealed that other classic levels were going to be remastered, and the only one they showed was Green Hill. Now, I wasn't mad that they were falling back on Green Hill again, but I will say I wasn't interested in the least. We have seen Green Hill again and again throughout the years. People complain that the first zone of every Sonic game is a Green Hill clone, and while I agree that some of these zones are very similar, many are their own thing, like Seaside Hill, Angel Island, Westopolis. But that doesn't excuse the fact that we've seen Green Hill in over 15 Sonic games so far. Heck, we've seen Green Hill in non-Sonic games. There were some bits which intrigued me though, like how the level switches into an underground segment and the boss was an interesting take on the classic swinging ball. I get that it's an anniversary title, so, you know, first ever Sonic level and all, but in all honesty, I don't care about Green Hill anymore, that boat has sailed. They showed off the new Drop Dash, which is replacing the static shield, or the Insta Shield, I think it's called. Don't know why it has to replace it exactly. I mean, the only reason why I used it in the first place back in Sonic 3 was to kill enemies with the spikes around them, so if there's none of that crap, I'm sure I won't miss it too much. You can also play as Tails and Knuckles as expected, and they function the same way as they did in the classic game, so that's good too. Knuckles also chuckles, which leads me to believe that the sprite artists didn't actually do their research. Everybody knows he should be eating grapes instead. It says so in the manual. So that's fine and dandy. I mean, we got a new classic Sonic game, old levels, new levels, T-Lopes, awesome. Just great. Nothing to complain about, really. I think the next zone we were introduced to was Mirage Saloon. It's based off a scrapped level in Sonic 2 and looks really, really good from what I've seen. I love the aesthetic, the bar stools, the seltzer, the portraits with the moving eyes. It's brilliant. I love it. I love it. You can also see what I'm guessing is a special stage entrance, not yet implemented in that specific demo, but I'm sure it'll be either Blue Sphere or the half pipe again. I'm really hoping it's not the half pipe because I really suck at those, but at this point I'm kind of hoping it'll be something brand new. After all, Sonic 1, 2, and 3 all had different special stages. Then a little later at a panel of some sort, I forget what it's called, they showed off Flying Battery Zone. I was hoping for Carnival Night Zone for the next classic old zone, but Flying Battery's good too. I mean, I had no idea how many people actually liked it until now. I don't know, I guess I'm just not the biggest fan of the mechanical themed levels. Scrap Brain, Metropolis, and Metallic Madness really didn't give me the best impression. Then more recently, Sega revealed that Stardust Speedway would be returning, or to be exact, the past version, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of time switching mechanic in the level or a landscape change at a certain point. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like Stardust Speedway. I'm sorry, but as is the case with all of Sonic CD's levels, it's extremely confusing and just really terrible to get around, and it's a bit of a clusterfuck. I'm assuming this version won't be as cluttered and confusing as the previous one, but only time will tell, so. Then we learned that Chemical Plant is coming back again. What? I have to admit, this was a bit of a shock. To be honest, I'd seen people asking for it in YouTube comments and the such, but I never actually really thought that it'd be coming back, especially after Generations already, you know, did it. Then again, Green Hill is coming back for the millionth time, but that is Sonic's first level, so I do understand that to a degree. I see they're adding gel parts in the second act, but from what I've seen, the first is almost exactly the same, although Green Hill did that too at first, but switched up near the end of the zone. I really, really hope we're not just going to be seeing zones that have already been remastered. If we see Sky Sanctuary again, I'm going to flip my nut. I mean, I don't hate Chemical Plant Zone by any means. I mean, it's one of my favorite stages in Generations. I'll replay that any day. But it would have been a lot more interesting to see, like, some new stages, or at least some old stages which haven't been given as much thought in the more recent Sonic games. Just because they're not as popular doesn't mean they're not good. Everyone seems to love Ice Cap Zone for some reason, so I can pretty much guarantee that's going to be the only Sonic 3 level we're going to be seeing. I'll miss you, Carnival Night Zone. If you're gonna revamp some old levels, why use the ones we just saw in the last anniversary game? I mean, at this point, I'm just asking you to reuse different old levels. It's uninvented from the start, but it's just getting ridiculous. I know we're getting a 60% classic, 40% new zone ratio, but it's just really hard to get hyped for these old levels. You're just pretty much showing me a slightly different version of something I've already played a million times. I mean, I'm still looking forward to it. I mean, not as much as I'm looking forward to Sonic Mania's eventual sequel, though, because when this game sells well, and it will, it's going to be greenlit a sequel. When that happens, please give us some new zones, some great new zones, just a full game of new zones, repeatedly saying new zones. Please, come on, come on. New zones. So that's Sonic Mania. I don't think I'd mind the classic 60% thing if we got 6 or 7 new zones, but to be honest, I don't think that's going to be happening. So anyway, all in all, like, yeah, not bad. I'm gonna buy it. And now let's head on to the big one, Sonic Forces. So this one's a lot of a bigger subject, so I think it'll be a lot easier for me to start off by saying everything that I like about the game, because that'll be easier to compress, and I won't have to explain myself as much. So let's do that at the start, and then we'll head on to the stuff I'm a little more worried about. So from instantly, right from the get-go, when we learned of this game, instantly we knew it had a more serious story. That's great, that's brilliant. After all, I didn't even think Shadow the Hedgehog's story was even that over the top. Speaking of Shadow, I like how he's back and not just for a cameo this time. Clearly there's some sort of time travel stuff going on here, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We've got our characters, Sonic, Classic Sonic, and a custom character that you can create yourself. Now, we've seen Modern and Classic, I mean, cool, whatever. I mean, I don't really care too much about Classic Sonic. There's no real reason for him to be here other than a crutch to get people to buy the game. And especially what with Mania being here, he's really unneeded. I get that Sonic Forces was in development for a long time before Mania, or at least I think so, but he didn't need to be here in the first place. Mania just makes his inclusion worse because people aren't going to be buying this game for Classic Sonic when they could just get a superior Classic experience with Mania. Other than that, I don't care too much. I never played classic stages in Generations, but whatever, they're there. And some people really like them, so, you know, whatever. The idea for custom characters is very smart, though. If I was still 10 years old, I'd be shitting myself from excitement at the mention of that. And the graphics look good, especially the starting area of Park Avenue. Sonic's friends are returning to do more than flap their little arms and warn you about those homing shots this time. Always great. I love it when characters interact with each other during a stage. Instantly makes me 3 times more interested. For example, in Sonic Generations, the gameplay was fantastic, but it felt just like a game, like it was just trying to be a game. It left me a little uninterested around the middle. I stopped at one point and picked it up later again. That's one thing with me in games. If a game has brilliant gameplay but not enough story elements which entertain me, I'll quickly grow bored. That's why I only finished Shovel Knight when I did a video on it. I still want to play Plague of Shadows and Spectre of Torment, but I just don't feel the need. Not that there's anything wrong with those games, as I said, the gameplay is just brilliant. Anyway, I love hearing characters flap their lips during a stage as long as it doesn't charm me. Oh god, no! Alright, so before I talk about what I may be not so sure about in the game or something I'm on the fence about, I just want to say this one thing. These things are my opinions. Wow, RadicalSoda, what are these things called opinions? Oh man, they're a thing that I have which you might differ in. Wow, that was an awful explanation. So in the first gameplay footage we saw of Modern Sonic, everything just looked great. But then upon further inspection, I found I don't like the wisps, never have. The only wisp I like is Spikes. Everything else just feels like a power Sonic used to have in the form of a power-up. Now I get why they might be coming back, you know, with Chaos and Zatu? Was that it? Zorn? Zemnis? No, that's Kingdom Hearts. Zonk? No, that just sounds stupid. That can't... If Chaos and Zonko over here can come back, I guess the Wisps can too. Still no reason as to why they were in Lost World though, and I still think they're as unneeded as Classic Sonic, to be honest. But RadicalSoda, what about those great new gadgets? Wisp bombs! They need the Wisps! Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry. There's absolutely no way we could use the gadgets without the wisps. Oh, wait. Yes, we can. What's that? Who's that? Oh, man, it looks like someone who's been using gadgets without wisps for a while. What's their name? Big the Cat. He's got his fishing pole. From what I've seen, Sonic himself doesn't use anything other than the white boost wisps, which is good because when you have Sonic, which can use all of his abilities already because you're not strapped for buttons, there's really no need to use any of them. So that's fine. The boost gauge was always something which was kind of unbalanced, so I really don't mind if they're just there so you're not over boosting. And if they're just there for the custom character, you know what, whatever. But then again, I mean, kind of unneeded. We could have just had fuel monitors or something. Unless they're there for story purposes, in which case, like, what are you just trying to make Eggman more evil than he, I mean, he's killing whole cities worth of people, like, is that not enough? You gotta say, oh no, not only am I killing the whole human race, but I am also capturing these aliens and putting them in these pods. Ooh, so evil. So here's a question, why is Sonic's double jump back? If he controlled fine, he wouldn't need it in the first place. In my eyes, Sonic's a horizontal platformer. You jump from platform to platform, which is spread out in a way which you can keep your speed. Double jumping is usually reserved for the more vertical platforms. You've got your Ratchet and Clank, your Jak and Dax, the Spyro even at one point had a double jump. And in all of those games, it was based on exploring and jumping up platforms to explore up there, you know. I'd much rather have an easily controllable dash like an Adventure in Heroes. With that, I knew how far I could go and I could keep up the speed. The Generations one sucked. I mean, it just had a short set spurt length and then fizzled out. Incredibly annoying to platform with. And the Colors one was too powerful with no arc. It just went straight down at an angle. Apart from that, Modern Sonic looks fine. I mean, he still doesn't have a momentum-based homing attack, but whatever. I mean, I can live without it. Park Avenue looks like a good stage all in all. I like the music. Sonic's running at high speed, killing robots, grabbing rings, and 2D section.
And back to the unneededness of classic Sonic. We have 2D with. I was really hoping because the only thing they showed in the reveal, the first reveal of gameplay, was just 3D Sonic. I was like, yes, that's gonna happen. But no. He does the loop. He runs down a slope for a minute. You get 1 minute of modern Sonic, proper modern Sonic, and then bam. 2D plane all the way for the next 80% of the level, and that's the first level. In Generations, we had 3D, then 2D, then 3D, then 2D, then 3D again. There was a good mix between the two because Generations did it right, but this is just all fucking in the 2D, and then you can go on the path, and it's literally just straight lines. There's no grindy rails because there is one, but you don't get to control anything. You don't get to even jump, I'm guessing. And then there's nothing to break up the gameplay. There's a boring ass 2D section. I don't like 2D sections!
I don't like modern Sonic in 2D. The boost formula works so well in 3D, but in 2D you can barely see what's coming up ahead. It's just stupid. It's utterly stupid. And what are these spikes doing here? They serve no purpose other than to make you just jump. Hello, level design, anyone? Why are they here? I sound like I hate the game. I don't. I really don't. I'm still looking immensely forward to it, more so than Sonic Mania, just because it's got a story and everything. But the 2D... I don't like that choice. It's not that I just don't like it, but I also think it's bad for gameplay. I think you could make it a really solid 3D modern Sonic boosting gameplay experience, but instead they're opting back for the old, easily done level designs. I'm not outraged. I'm just disappointed.
Whoa! Don't be disappointed, Rad. I'm sure you'll still like the game.
Yeah, I know, Sonic, but I mean, it's... Hey, wait a minute, you're not voiced by Jason Griffith anymore.
Oh no, he's caught on! Quick, let's get out of here. Pikachu is also voiced by Roger Craig Smith. Pikachu!
I replay certain stages in Generations because they have a lot of 3D. You got Seaside Hill, Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Rooftop Run. Those are all fun stages, but nobody likes Planet Wisp because it starts out like the Forces level. It has a good 3D section, and then all of a sudden, you're flung into 2D and it's shitting on your face. Right, so no, it doesn't literally do that, but you get my point. Also, what's with the HUD? Are you censoring parts of the screen? Like, that's awful. It looks genuinely terrible. I don't like that at all. Next up is Classic Sonic, and he's got the drop dash. I mean, cool, fine, I like the idea of the drop dash, but for some reason you can use it now just whenever, compared to Mania's only able to use it after you've jumped from a higher ledge to earn your speed kind of thing. So I'm guessing they still haven't fixed Classic Sonic's rolling momentum from Generations. The first level we saw with Classic Sonic is Green Hill. Again. I mean, not too big of a deal, it's an anniversary title and they needed an established level to show off how Eggman was taking over, even though I thought they did that pretty effectively in Sonic Colors with Planet Wisp, but hey, whatever, it's got sand now, so new level, I guess. It also somehow looks worse than Generations. I mean, how do they screw that up? I mean, I like the more vibrant colors in it, but isn't it supposed to be taken over by Eggman, which means it should have less color? Like, after all, you don't see vibrant green grass growing in the Sahara Desert. Silver, somehow here from the future and also somehow knowing Sonic. Did Sonic Rivals set the story for the present time Silver? I've still got no idea what's going on anymore with him, as with Blaze, even though we haven't seen her yet, if at all. Anyway, Silver talks about a chemical plant sometime in the original character Green Hill level, and if we get Green Hill and chemical plant in both of these anniversary games, I'm gonna lose my shit. That will not be okay. No matter what cockamamie theme is flung behind it, that's extremely uninventive. Is this the same Sonic team that created all the creative and unique levels from the adventure games, Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Unleashed, and Sonic Colors? Lost World's ideas were uninventive, to say the least. Mario. And Generations had its reasons, you know, revisiting old places from the past, etc, etc. But I thought this game wasn't supposed to be Generations 2. It's looking more and more like Generations 2 every passing day! So for the past couple days and weeks, we've been given more and more information about the new Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania. Now I thought it'd be a little fun thing to do to give my thoughts and opinions on the new game so far. What? Sorry, you've heard this before. Oh, no, you see, I'm holding a jar of sand. It makes it an entirely new, different experience. A different experience overall, just trust me on this. Moving past all that, the music in classic Green Hill is, well, it's not Green Hill, I'll say that. It's nice to hear something new, but I don't know what exactly to think of it. I like the tune, sure, but the instruments used, or should I say virtual instruments, are kind of ear grating. Not the best. I'll listen to Generations tracks any day, but this is kind of weird. Well, it suits it at least. I think. The classic Green Hill boss was also shown off, that being the original Green Hill boss, but now with a saw blade. Oh, it's so inventive there. But as it turns out, that's just a cover! Turns out the real boss is the Egg Dragoon. Oh. Oh, crap. So why are they using final bosses as first bosses now? Is this going to be a recurring thing from now on? Mania did it, and I mean, a challenge is nice, but maybe something different would have been better. Then again, Eggman says something about it only being at 10% power, so we might get some sort of form change. I didn't actually see the full boss, so who knows? You know what, actually, with all the recurring themes here, I'm guessing it doesn't change, so And lastly, let's take a look at the OC style. Firstly, I'd like to say that I really like the idea of this. You got plenty of options in regards to racing clothing. Still don't know if you can change their actual appearance though, like ears, fur, eyes, that sort of thing, or if everyone's OC is just gonna look the exact same with different colors and alternate clothes. But I really hope that's not the case. When I first saw gameplay for the OCs, I absolutely just hated it. I hated how it had a little pause between the grappling and swinging. I hated how you had a flamethrower that was just mowing down enemies. There's no challenge to this. There just isn't. You're just pressing right and holding down R2. There's just, it's not. Does this look fun? I don't know. I really don't know anymore. Now, while my views have changed about the OC gameplay, I still would have preferred some sort of melee attack instead. Punching, jumping, give me the thunder shoot, I don't give a shit. But that's probably what the other Wisp ones are for. I know the laser one, not the laser one, the lightning one, I think it is. I never played Sonic Lost World 3DS. I know that one's got a whip of some sort, but it also slows you down, so I don't see why you'd use that instead of the flamethrower. That just seems like a downgrade there. Of course, I can't imagine that Spikes would do anything but turn you into a rolling ball so you can smash up enemies, and Frenzy will probably do the same thing, so that slightly differently. That is, if Frenzy still exists. They all got turned back into normal Wisps at the end of Sonic Colors. Then again, the Wisps also left forever at the end of Sonic Colors, so, you know. Oh wait, what's that? There's an Eagle Wisp on. Oh, how about that? I suppose nothing is canon anymore in Sonic. Apart from this. Now this is canon. I didn't like the original character Park Avenue music, and to be honest, I'm still not fond of it. I'm still waiting for anything that sounds even remotely like Sonic Heroes music, you know, a strong tune that suits the level instantly, and I was just raring to just rip into the custom character sections, just to tear into how much was wrong, until I saw the Green Hill E3 demo. So this looks fun. The music, while it doesn't exactly suit, is actually, I can get down behind this. I'm always a sucker for like multiple of the same voice layered on top of each other. It gives it a more epic feel, I find. Or at least from what I could hear, Aaron Weber was explaining all the delightful things you could do at the time.
Because why not?
Mario can have a gun, anything can happen.
It's been a crazy...
I also like how you have like an objective, which is clearly just the reason why you're doing the stage. Like in the first stage, how you're trying to find Shadow. I highly doubt there'll be any actual Shadow-esque mission-style gameplay here. But while the level does look kind of empty and flat at some areas, that includes Park Avenue 2, by the way. We haven't actually seen everything this game has to offer, so I am keeping my hopes up. Maybe the level design might be switched a little bit. I highly doubt it. I bet this is kind of the final thing, but whatever. So, to recap everything. Looks like I'm doing a Yu-Gi-Oh pose. Go! White-headed, blue-eyed, seven-fingered dragon! Ugh. Mania still looks great. Sad they don't have more original levels, but the remixes look good, the music sounds great, and I'm looking forward to the eventual sequel. Sonic Forces, I love the story focus they're going with this time. It'll be great to see Sonic's friends actually take part in the story for once, other than just yelling, "You've got the power, Sonic!" I'm really hoping the writing is good, with at least some funny moments, like in the Sonic Boom cartoon. Seriously, it can be really, really funny at times.
Dear Zoe, day 1. It's amazing how much snow there is just 2 minutes outside of town.
The HUD looks incredibly ugly. I hope that does get changed. Modern Sonic looks fun, still iffy on the double jump and the wisps, not to mention I don't think the 2D needs to be there, but other than that, it looks fine. Classic Sonic, not interested. He's not an interesting character. Generations didn't portray him as anything very interesting apart from like a happy mime. He doesn't really need to be there, especially in this more modern focused game. It would have worked perfectly without him, I find. I'm assuming he controls the same as he did in Generations with the addition of the drop dash. I just really hope they've improved the physics. And the OC characters, they look fun. I mean, interesting music style. I hope there's more interactive weapon choices down the line, as well as some extra body styles, different ears, eyes, that sort of thing. I mean, right now they all look pretty goofy in my opinion. Still haven't seen Hedgehog though, so I don't know, maybe I'll go with that depending on how that looks. And that's it for my opinions, I guess. If I got anything wrong, not my opinions, mind you, I can't get opinions wrong, but if I got any facts wrong, like I said, Sonic could do something he actually can't do, then do mention it down in the comments below. I do read every single comment. It might not look like it because I don't obviously respond to a lot of them. In fact, most. I don't respond to 99% of them, but I do read every single one, so know that when you do write a comment, I do read it. And that does influence my other videos. So, you know, just... And lastly, a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters. I couldn't do the show without you. With the money you've given me, gonna buy Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces so I can review those and get that all to you. I know anyone who watches my stuff is mainly a Sonic fan, so, you know, that's gonna be the bulk of my stuff. Anyway, so that's that. Thank you all so much for watching, and I guess I'll end this video mid-sentence. You all thought I was actually going to end a mid-sentence? Of course not, I wouldn't do that to you. No, but in all seriousness,